Hey, welcome back, y'all. As you can see, I'm sitting in the darkness here because this is what it feels like to be a Chicago Bulls fan at this point. So, just a little bit ago, Woj and Shams were talking about how Zach Lavine no longer is that interested in being a Chicago Bull. More specifically, in their words, an increased openness about exploring a deal. Now, these rumors have been running rampant for a while. The Bulls kind of have this big three of guys that, while very talented individually, don't actually win you any basketball games. And people have been theorizing for a while that if you put these guys on different teams, their careers probably look a lot better. And yeah, it's really unfortunate because the Bulls pay a lot of money to these three guys, those three guys being Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, right? And again, all very talented players, but at the end of the day, they don't result in wins. And it's not hard to imagine why, in terms of like the basketball fit, these guys don't work. You know, they're all very ball dominant. There's not a lot of passing going on between them. There's not a ton of defense going on. So it's not a trio that has gelled well here in Chicago, and it really just needs to be blown up. Now, as a Bulls fan, I'm from Chicago originally. It sucks to see because I love Zach Lavine as a player, as an individual. I truly think he's one of the most unstoppable scorers that there are in the league. He can score from all three levels. He's an elite 3-point shooter. He's an elite finisher. He's a phenomenal athlete, right? He's great at creating space. All of that is phenomenal, but it's not resulting in wins, and so they're apparently going to start to explore their options. And I think if you're the Bulls, you do just need to tear it all down at this point. I don't even want Patrick Williams on this team anymore. I don't know why he doesn't want to shoot the basketball. I don't know why he can't be aggressive. I just want them all gone. I think that's the only way it's going to go. Unfortunately, the Chicago Bulls have a tendency to never quite commit to a tank. They always just want to retool, and that's how a lot of Chicago sports organizations work. Unfortunately, is they never want to just like concede with things, and if they do, it's kind of on accident, which makes it even worse. But my fear is that they're going to trade Zach Lavine and then hold on to DeRozan and Vucevic. You might not even be able to trade Vucevic, in all honesty. I'm not sure what you'd get for him. But like, if you trade Lavine, Caruso needs to get traded. DeRozan needs to get traded. Patrick Williams needs to get traded. I want Kobe White traded. Like, trade Dalen Terry even. Like, I don't need these guys on the roster. Io DeSumo, like, I guess you can keep him around because he's that young. But like, what's the point? These guys are on like longer term contracts already, and like this team's not winning any basketball games. When you start to think about where Zach Lavine could end up, that's where I think it gets a little bit tricky. And unfortunately, I feel like whenever this trade does happen, I feel like I'm going to hate whatever they get back for him. And maybe I'm being biased for how good I think Zach Lavine is, but I think he's a second leading scorer on a championship team, in all honesty. Maybe he's not the next best player. It depends on the position, everything, right? But like, I don't think you're holding Zach Lavine to under like 25, 24 points a game at any point in his career at this point. I mean, just the shot creation alone is just too elite. I try to think about teams that he could end up with, like, and my mind immediately goes to like Orlando for some reason, just because like I look at that roster and they have no shooting, but it doesn't really make sense, and I don't really want anybody on Orlando's roster. I think about like Dallas because there was a lot of rumors last year that they would want Zach Lavine, but that was kind of before they got Kyrie Irving. And if they went and got Zach Lavine and paired him up with those two, that'd just be such a weird roster. Maybe they'll score 150 points a game if they do that, but like, what? How many defenders do they have to give up to get Zach Lavine then, right? And they don't have the picks to make a move like that happen anyway. The team that a lot of people are talking about is the 76ers because they could probably use another scorer around Maxey and Embiid, and they're in compete mode right now. Again, what does that trade mean? I don't think they want to give up Tobias Harris, right? So are they going to give up some combination of, I don't even know what it would have to be at this point. Like, it's a combination of like Batum, Covington, all these guys, but apparently the Sixers like their depth and are not all that interested in making that deal. So I don't know. Maybe the Sixers are kind of waiting until the deadline to see if maybe the asking price drops a little bit because the Bulls don't get the offers they want. I don't think I've forgotten about the Lakers fans either. Like, I saw the trade the other day. It was like in a Bleacher Report article or something saying like, oh, well, if they trade Lavine and Caruso, they can get Hachimura, D'Lo. Who else was it? It was like Jalen Hood-Schifino, like a first-round pick. And I was just like, if y'all don't shut up with that trade, there is no way. Zach Lavine alone is one, maybe two first-round picks, in my opinion. Caruso himself is a first-round pick, for sure, for sure. Like, I'm willing to bet if they trade Caruso, he's going to end up on the Miami Heat. That just seems like the place that he goes. That or Golden State. You know, Golden State would love to have him. I don't think they necessarily need any more guards on that team, but I know they would love to have a guy like Caruso. So I found one here that says Zach Lavine to the Knicks. What is it? Yeah, I was going to say RJ Barrett. Yeah, Evan Fournier for money, a 2024 first round pick and a 2027 first round pick. I wouldn't even know what to think about this. I would look at a trade like this and be like, oh, maybe the Knicks will be the Knicks and just start to be bad at basketball again, and then those picks are worth it. But it's not very exciting. RJ Barrett's a great I shouldn't say great. He's a good young player, but that's the thing. We're not going to get anything that's all that valuable for him. I more so just want the Bulls to commit to a direction that's not complete disappointment right now. Something to consider as well, like obviously they're starting the discussions now. I don't think it's necessarily like on the horizon. I'm sure the Bulls, if they did want to move, would want to move quickly. But the problem is like a lot of teams like that Lakers deal, right? They're not going to be able to make that trade anyway until later in the year because like Hachimura just got a new contract, D'Lo just got a new contract. I don't remember if it's a December or January that those guys can get moved at, but we're gonna have to wait till then anyway. So maybe that's when a trade would go down. Maybe they'll have a agreement in principle or something, and then once those players become eligible, they strike the deal. Here's an article that says this looks like it was from like 4 months ago, so obviously it's a little bit different. But let's see what they're talking about here and see if they make any sense. So the Bulls would get Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and it would have been like a first round pick in this draft. So let's say the Heat did want to get involved with it, like Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson probably would have to be in it for salary matching purposes. But I don't think the Heat are trading Tyler Hero for Zach Lavine. I don't think that makes them all that much better. What do we got here? Yeah, the RJ Barrett one. What is this one? Oh, yeah. For Derrick Rose, I would have done it for Derrick Rose and 2 first-round picks. As a Bulls fan, that's just me just being objective and wanting to see a number 1 in Chicago again. I mess with that. What do we got here? D'Lo, the 17th pick and a second. Lakers get Zach Lavine and Portland's pick. Oh, no, y'all are high for that one. That's not one I can agree to. When this was one of those weird 3-team trades. Yeah, none of this makes sense. I don't think there is like an obvious Zach Lavine trade to be had. I don't know what it is, but unfortunately the Bulls do need to make a move. I didn't want them to come into this season with those guys. Hell, at the beginning of last season, I didn't want them to come in with these guys. And I like these players. It's just they don't work together and they're not going to accomplish anything. There's a reason they had this team only or these players only meeting at the beginning of the season. It's a disaster there. I don't even think like Billy Donovan's like a bad coach or anything. I just think it's a really poorly constructed roster, and unfortunately a lot of it rode on the back of Lonzo Ball keeping it on all together, and that fell apart. And that's unfortunate because Lonzo really made everything connect. And I don't think they were going to be a championship contender, but I think they would have been a higher seed in the playoffs if they could have kept him healthy. But you know, that's what it is. I just wanted to talk as a Bulls fan for a little bit, see if there's any other Bulls fans out there that want to join me in the darkness and the sadness for a little bit. Honestly, it'll bring a little bit of light if we could bring in some first-round picks or something, because Orlando screwed us out of all theirs for Vucevic, which I was fine with the move at the time just because, like, it was a sign that the Bulls were finally willing to try to, like, do something to win basketball games, and it amounted to nothing. So, lovely. For that reason alone, I hope we don't trade him to Orlando because they're going to screw us over again. I don't want it. Yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts and everything. I'm going to go be a sad Bulls fan some more in this darkness and enjoy having Zach Lavine on the team while I can. It's kind of hard to enjoy it still, but man, is he a talented player. And for all you other fans out there, if your team gets Zach Lavine, know that he is really, really good and he's just in a bad situation. Please give us your picks for him. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.